Hello, I'm going to do a review of this kit. Cyber Hobby number 35. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. You can read it as well as I can. Basically, it's the ammo schlepper version of the Hummel. It was on sale for a ridiculously low price at the local hobby shop. They had several of them, and I guess they realized it's not the most popular subject. It's kind of useless unless you're going to do a Hummel, which I'll do a review of that one shortly. As I said, it's basically a Hummel, which means it's built on a Panzer IV chassis, but uses a lot of Panzer III parts. There's the box. They give you a, what do they call it, newly tooled DS canvas cover. Some photo etch to fill in the opening where the howitzer would go. Some tools, overview, some ammo. Oh, there's the number. 6151. Two different paint schemes. The other end. And what have I got down here? Wrong way. Apparently they include a soft plastic air hose. It's magic tracks. Slide molded hull. And they give you photo etch covers for the intake grills. Anyway, let's crack this one open. Get this one out of the way. And hopefully this tripod will work a little bit. I'm going to try this over here. Instructions, come back to them. There's that DS cover. So I guess the same stuff. Dragon styrene. Nice and flexible. Magic tracks. The dragon card. Quite a bit of photo etch, fiddly little parts. Steal you again. What else can I get? Lots of fiddly little bits. Metal cable in the hose. More photo etch. More photo etch. Clear sprue. More photo etch, and I'm not a fan of the stuff. And lots and lots of tiny little decals, decals, take your pick. Boy. Anyway, let's actually crack some of these open. Just because I'm curious. That, I don't know, steal me again, is very thin plastic. I don't know if you can see that. Try and get it to zoom in. At the edge it's almost paper thin. Get it to work. It's almost translucent. Hopefully that gives you an idea of how thin it is. I'm picking up light through it. Again, clean molding. No flash that I can see. No, it wants to stay. We can stay. I'm not going to open up every bag. Ammo holders. I'm guessing that's an antenna. That's very thin. That's actually a little disappointing. That'll almost certainly break on me before I get it off. Let's have a quick peek at this. There's a little bit of texture on that. I'm not going to get it with the camera, but it's very, very lightly textured. The hull with some very fiddly pieces hidden away inside it. That is a lot of sprue for very little in the way of parts in there. Ammunition or shells. Guess some boxing of some sort. Quite a few of them. MP40s, which it's not zooming in on. Come on, behave. Usual Dragon folded but no magazine. Quite a few, 2 of them, so 4 in total. An MG34 with some ammo boxes for it. Well, this thing was meant to haul ammo around, lots of it, and supply the Hummels in the units. The suspension, that'll be typical Dragon Panzer IV parts and quality. Drawings, everything else. Interesting. There's no crew involved, but they give you rifles, stripper clips. Let me get that out. Lots of stuff for stowage. It looks like they've actually rated one of their this here. Hopefully it'll focus a little bit better. Tons and tons of bayonets, helmets, water flasks, gas mask ends. Not sure what those are. Binocular pouches, 2 of them. They're open top. I'll use them for something else. The lids for the 2 binocular cases. A pile of closed binocular cases. Bayonets. Binoculars. All this for a vehicle that doesn't include a kit. German gear, Sprue's GA. I guess this is rear hull. Probably part of the exhaust. The cradles for the extra road wheels. But this is what I cracked open to see. I'll give you a couple of rifles. With separate bolt actions. That's the actual bolt. And let's lay that down for a second. You probably can't see it. Now if you take a hard look, and I point it out to you, the bolts are in different positions. Can I get in close enough? Yeah. That one's straight out. That one's down. I'm presuming the length might be different so that you can show these either with the bolt closed for storage or with the bolt open, but they give you a whole lot of stripper clips. It's not focusing on them too close. For those rifles. There's a lot of details for a crew they don't include. Anyway. Typical Dragon. instructions, all the parts you don't use in blue. Just funny, they give you that whole pile of personal gear, the gas masks, everything else, and all they're telling you to use out of that is the gas masks. So everything else is bonus. And you're supposed to be using 2 rifles and some of the stripper clips. Interesting. You're using 2 rifles but 1 bolt. Very strange. Usual color callouts, and they're not to me, so they don't matter to me other than the names. Load wheels first. And yes, my work surface is not that huge, as you can see, kind of, hopefully. So, that looks rather bizarre. Template only, do not glue. I assume I'm going to have to get started on this model to figure out what that actually means. You're going to love it when you can already spot where your headaches are going to be with your dragon kits. It'll still have the surprise problems. Ammo. More ammo boxes. I think with this one, I have yet to find any pictures of one of these ammo carriers. There's some of Hummel's. So I presume you're going to load up what you can that the model gives you for ammunition, and then you're just going to cram the rest of it with boxes and crates of more ammunition, probably with some loose right at the end of the door, because this thing was meant to wheel up and keep a couple of Hummels firing, and the Hummels didn't carry a lot of ammunition, so this thing would be busy. And presumably some of the Hummels would be right out of ammunition when this thing pulled up, and they're not going to want to spend time cracking open crates, so they probably carried a couple of loose rounds near the back to get it out quickly. And again, there's the painting diagrams. Unidentified unit, Germany, 1945. And then test run, Deutsch, Eisenwerk, can't say it. Which is just a, it's 403. Plain dark yellow. Dunkelgelb. Is that it? Yeah. So when I eventually get around to building this, I'm going to end up filling the back of it with crates of all description, as long as they're 150mm looking, and throw all sorts of camouflage over it, because they don't show it, but these parts here, there you are actually just little sort of attachment points. Because these, the Nashorn and the Hummels, are designed to have wire, just regular chicken wire or whatever you want to call it, crisscrossing to attach camouflage to branches and stuff to give them more camouflage. So I'm probably going to do with that, or do that with this one. And my plan when I get around to it is doing this, supplying 2 Hummels with maybe some sort of Kabul wagon or something like that in there, just for a little size perspective, because it's going to be 3 vehicles almost the same, just one without a gun. Anyway, it's certainly not the most involved dragon kit I've ever seen. Just that one instruction's already got me worried, and it'll be a long time before I get around to building this, but it should be a fun one. Anyway, if you're thinking about building a Hummel, or a couple of them, you might be interested in this. There's also a version of this for the Vesp, an ammunition hauling version of the Vesp. But I want to do the Hummel, so I'm using a Hummel ammunition supplier. Anyway, hope this was informative. Hope it helps if you're thinking about buying this kit. Take care.